Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse, and today I want to talk about the Toxic Avenger, the 2025 reimagined version of the 1984 cult classic. It's directed by Macon Blair, whose last directorial effort was 2017's I Don't Feel at Home in This World Anymore, and you've also seen him act in a few Jeremy Saulnier movies. And it stars Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood, Taylour, Paige, and Jacob Tremblay. We meet Winston Gooze, what a name, played by Peter Dinklage, a downtrodden, terminally ill janitor and widowed stepfather. After being cruelly denied proper healthcare by his corrupt, heartless boss Bob Garbinger, played by Kevin Bacon, the owner of BTH, a shady pharmaceutical company where Winston works, he's thrown into a vat of toxic sludge and emerges as a grotesque, radioactive vigilante known as Toxie. Now wielding a glowing mop and superhuman strength, he must race against time to save his stepson, played by Jacob Tremblay, and stops Garbinger's ruthless, power-hungry plans to harness Toxie's powers to expand his polluted empire. If you're a fan of the original, here's what you won't get in this version of the Toxic Avenger. A catchy opening song like Body Talk, more on that later. Body talk. A gym where all the cool people hang out, kids getting run over by cars, dogs getting blasted with shotguns, mountains of cocaine, wacky slapstick, practical gore effects, plenty of boobs, Nazi salutes, and a portly mayor running the town. What you do get is the essence of the first movie, more of a full-on reimagining than a straight-up one-to-one remake. It's got a decent budget that gives the world a more lived-in feel and some real production value. Watching it, I felt like I was dropped into a mix of Hobo with a Shotgun and Turbo Kid, that kind of aesthetics. And yes, the pink tutu is back. As for the story of this reimagining, it's split into two threads. Taylour Paige plays an investigative reporter who works tirelessly to expose BTH's evil deeds. She's also driven to avenge the death of her mentor, who was investigating the case alongside her. Meanwhile, Winston Gooze struggles with health problems caused by his work at BTH, being denied the help he needs and getting beaten up by the Killer Nuts with a Z, a gang of thugs, an insane clown posse wannabes, managed by Garbinger's right-hand man and younger brother Fritz, played by Elijah Wood, who's a mix between the Penguin and his version of Gollum. Eventually, Toxie and the reporter join forces to bring the entire operation down. So you get about 20 minutes of in-the-flesh Dinklage in the movie. He gives a heartfelt performance as a downbeat guy who just wants to be a good dad. I mean, it does feel odd in a movie like this, the seriousness of his performance when everything else around him is so over the top. But you know, Dinklage could put it off. After that 20 minutes, it's him doing voiceover while actress Luisa Guerrero takes over the physical performance of Toxie, and she really nails every bit of what Dinklage would have brought if he did the whole thing. You can really feel that he's Toxie in the costume, while she's the one sweating her tits off in there. She does an A1 job. Jacob Tremblay playing the stepson leaves no real impression. I mean, it's not the kind of movie where he can pull off a performance like, say, in the movie Room, but I think the fact that he's getting into more genre movies like this, especially after the Let's All Forget It Happened, the Predator movie back in 2018. Same with Kevin Bacon, he's on a tear lately with some of the villainous role he's been playing, and you can tell he's definitely having a blast as the sleaziest CEO imaginable, with his luxurious boy band haircut, chewing up every scene with cartoonish villainy.
Realize what's at stake here? Everything!
I also want to mention Julia Davis, who plays the executive assistant to Bacon's Garbinger. She's clearly got a thing for him, is very loyal, and is down with whatever he's putting out there. And she's a key part of how the chaos unfolds. Even though Elijah Wood's presence is very sparse in this, you've got to respect him just being in anything he feels like being in. And of course, he wants to be in the Toxic Avenger, being the genre fanboy we know him to be. Now, for all you naughty gore hounds out there, this one mostly delivers. It can legitimately be called a splatter film. We get our first real taste of it around the 40-minute mark when some smarmy asshole who tried to kick an old lady out of her apartment and endanger her cat gets his arm ripped out, which was pretty satisfying. They do their own take on the Mexican restaurant scene from the original. Here it's called the Miss Meat Diner, which you can see in the trailer. Holding hands at the body organs get ripped out, heads blown off, chunks of flesh being shredded and flying everywhere. All the gore is very bloody and way over the top. One downside to it is that a lot of CGI is used. I like the tactile feel that practical gore effects give you, something CGI can never truly replicate. But it still looks pretty good, and it gives you the classic Troma feel. For the Troma fans out there are a few Easter eggs sprinkled throughout for you to geek out over. The town's renamed St. Roma's Village, but look closely at the battered sign and you'll see it still reads Tromaville under the grime. The mentor of the investigative reporter character who is dealt with at the beginning of the movie is named Mel Ferd, in honor of our favorite dweeb Melvin Ferd before he became Toxie in the first movie. There's also a subtle nod to Mayor Bell Goody with Bell Goody Bell Bond sign that pops up briefly. The name of the pharmaceutical company BTH can also be read as Body Talk Health Style, a nod to Sandy Farina's Body Talk, the opening song of the first movie I alluded to earlier. Lloyd Kaufman shows up towards the end of the movie as the hospital grump, written for him by director Macon Blair, who's with him in the scene. And I've got a bonus Easter egg for you exploitation movie fans out there that is not connected to the Toxic Avenger, but is inspired, I think, by 1975's The Devil's Reign, starring Tom Skerritt, William Shatner, and Ernest Borgnine. Borgnine's character in that film closely resembles a character in this movie towards the end as they transform in a way reminiscent of Borgnine's role in The Devil's Reign. If you know, you know. So do I recommend the Toxic Avenger? I do indeed. It's about as good as a bigger budget, studio-backed Toxie could get. Still packed with over-the-top cheap-looking gore, even with some noticeable CGI. It's not a straight remake, which is great. The story, characters, and setting pull you right into this gritty, grindhouse horror comedy world. Tone-wise, it's mostly tongue-in-cheek with a few solid gags, though a few scenes feel out of place. I don't have the same love for the original as some fans do. I've seen it a few times, but it wasn't part of my childhood, so I'm fine with the story changes and the reimagining. Most of the actors know what movie they're in, and I appreciated most of their performances. The story is a bit deeper than the original, touching on corporate greed and social injustice while keeping the gonzo subversive energy of the classic Toxie. Still, the Toxic Avenger is a charming love letter to the kinds of trashy exploitation films that we don't see much of anymore. And I do think this version of Toxie will be a gateway movie for today's 12-13-year-olds, getting them hooked and perhaps leading them into to dive deeper in the kinds of movies we all know and love. And definitely stay for the post-credit scene. It's probably one of the best I've seen in this now overused trend. You'll also see a fake Toxie will return title card telling us to spread the word so they can make that sequel happen. But when I was doing this review, the weekend box office number came out, and I think that makes the sequel less likely. But who knows? So that's my take on the Toxic Avenger. If you like this, please give it a thumbs up so I can get more visibility out there. Subscribe if you haven't. That does help too. Let me know in the comments your thought on this version of the Toxic Avenger, and also tell me what is your favorite Troma movie or one you think should be remade. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.